Salute, 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 and welcome. Welcome back to the Black Ocean. Now it's when we get deep in with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. Family, I want you to let me know if you can hear me loud and clear in the chat room here. It appears that it looks like I'm having a bit of signal issues over here, not in my usual broadcast studio. So let me know if you can hear me loud and clear, ladies and gentlemen. If not, we'll see if we can get that adjusted. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me check it on my end. Gentlemen, okay. See if we can get that adjusted. I can hear myself on my end, okay. So y'all can hear me okay. Okay, I'm seeing in the chat, look like everything is okay. Let me check one more thing here. Because, you know, over here on this channel, when we're about to cover very important subjects, they got to start with the BS. And I don't blame them. They should want to start with the BS tonight because, ladies and gentlemen, we got a hell of a broadcast for you tonight. This is going to change how you see national security in this country. Just as I said on that community tab, oh, you're going to see what I'm talking about. People showing love on the Cash App already. Salute to the good brother Rashawn for the Cash App. Thank you very much, my brother. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, listen, let me tell you something. I'm not going to mince no words over here. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about as I usually do with proof to back up what I'm saying, because this has gotten out of hand. We've been saying it over here in New Black Media Spaces for the longest period of time. But if you vote for them damn Democrats at this point, you have lost your mind. And I'm talking not just to Black America. I'm talking about white America, you too. At this point, if you vote for Jim Crow Joe and the Democrats, you have lost your mind. All of this chaos that we see in this country is this administration's fault. Let me take it further beyond Jim Crow Joe and his administration. Let me tell you something. Across the nation, particularly I'm speaking to Black America, but all Americans that are fed up with these illegal aliens coming over here to our country, let me tell you something. If you go and replace one Democrat like a Brandon Johnson, like a Lori Lightfoot with a Brandon Johnson, et cetera, and you put another Democrat in, you're still going to get the same issue and problem because they're beholden to the Democrat Party and they're towing the Democrat Party line. You see, after they got Lightfoot out, put Brandon Johnson there, what do you do? The same thing. That go for anyone in the nation. They have to be politically punished. And I'm going to tell you something in case you think, oh, GBS, you just riding on the Democrats for no reason. That would be the most asinine thing ever if you paid attention to anything that's going on in this country. But I tell you what, even if you do think that way, stick around to the end of this broadcast. And I guarantee you what I have to show you here tonight, it's going to be hard for you to argue with me then because it's not going to be my opinion. It's going to be facts. It's going to be everything that's going on right now that you can verify. So the only way that you're going to be able to really argue with me and say that, okay, you're going to support the Democrats if you just don't care about your well-being, your livelihood, security of your family, your community, your economic stability. And if you just, hey, maybe you in on it. Maybe you up there with everybody that's making a profit off all these different things, okay? Maybe you one of them people. So I know I can't reach you. But for the rest of us that's got an ounce of common sense in our heads, all of you are going to agree with what I'm going to have to show you here tonight if you feel like I just said. Now, let me take the time to ask y'all a question over here. Family, have you seen the recent chaos at the border? Oh, let me tell you, I saw some footage, man. I wish I would have had time to include that in here tonight. But you can look it up for yourselves, and those down there in Texas, you can verify what I'm saying. Do you know now that the illegals, they're getting so bold that they just tearing down the little fencing and stuff in mobs? And now keep in mind, the National Guard is down there. So I'm like this, at this point, I'm going to say it like it need to be said. The National Guard's job is to guard the nation. And at that point, if you try to cross into my border illegally, I'm authorizing my National Guard to use force. If it was me, and I was Greg Abbott, I'd be like, hey, man, it is what it is. You just going to have to come after me. We use force on them, just like the same force that you use on Black people. This is the force you need to be using on them. This is an invasion at this point. That don't make no sense. Oh, look up what I'm telling you. They are tearing down the fencing and just streaming over in droves. And you know they got to have the backing of the Biden administration. But, oh, don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to get into some things here tonight. So with that being said, I already got the cooking here. We ain't really got started. Let me mind my manners and greet my esteemed guests that are joining us. Let me make sure I can see the chat properly. Let me scroll hold up. Sure I can see you in here. All right, here we go. And expect the BS, but don't worry, we're going to power through it. If they do anything to this, it will be on Patreon, Rumble, etc. Y'all know what to do and where to go. So with that said, I see the 13% in the building. I see Derek Park over here, Patricia Jenkins in here. I see Stun Zed in here, the good brother Black Voltron Reloaded in the house. Jesse Ferreira in here. I see Amir L. James is joining us. V Moss being the fabulous legs. I see you. ATLN _ 007. I see D Foster in here. Let's see 7 Skills. Let's see Nightfall Droppers in the building. I see Bruce in here. Mungo Slade, a little country lamb. Netta J. What's up, Netta Bug? I see Mungo Slade. Okay, I already got you, brother, making sure. I see Charles Gibson. Patricia Slade in here. Hot one. To stay woke. The good brother Diesel Mike on the highways and byways. I see you. Shalil Peterson is in here. Kermit is Wingfield. What's going on, brother? I see, make sure. Goddess Navi, I see you. Making sure I don't miss anyone. I see Ferocious, the producer. What's going on, brother? Going down here. I think that's everyone. B1 Satin Dog. I see you also. Salute and welcome to everybody that'll be joining us in attendance here tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to cut straight to brass tacks. I got a couple of things to show you before we get into the meat of our subject matter here. Let me go ahead and get started, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. Let me go ahead and pull up item number 1. Oh, yes. Let me know if you can see this okay. Because I've spoken on this on a number of occasions, and I'm pretty sure many of you in New Black Media Spaces have often heard us mention this particular terminology. And I thought, okay, even though other people have broken it down, I said sometimes it's good when you're trying to teach somebody something, you have to repeat it. And it's good to add visual aids. Everybody learns at different speeds. That's okay. But I'm going to tell you why I don't mind taking the time to show you what I'm about to show you, because here's what I believe. My philosophy on this channel, I'm not the type of person that thinks because, okay, I'm educated or I have degrees and experience in this field, that field. I'm not the type of person that think I got all the answers, because the minute that you start thinking that, then you overlooking the other people that may not have degrees or may not have the most eloquent vocabulary, the most vast, extensive vocabulary. You overlooking those people that might have a piece of the puzzle that you're missing. So this is why I teach the way I teach on my channel, okay? I like to break things down where even a person that's on the most basic education level, if you can listen to hear what I'm saying and you had any type of basic education, you can get this, or it may inspire you to do your own research. So let's go over this real quick. The Hegelian dialectic. All right. Y'all have heard me often speak on this. Let's break this down real quick. Fact of business, let me take this banner down because we're going to roll right through this because I got a couple of things I want to show you before we get into what I was talking about. So now if you look at the top of this chart and let me know if you can see this okay. If not, I shall make it bigger. Please do let me know. Fact of business, can everybody see it okay before I go into this? If not, let me know. I will enhance it and make it bigger. What I'm saying looks like it's coming through clear, but what matters is if you all can see it okay. Can everybody see it okay? Give y'all a second to confirm. Okay, good deal, good deal. I'm seeing people say yes. All right. So now, at the top of this, you see agenda. Right below that, you see centralization of power. Then going to the left of that, you see thesis. Okay, everybody should know what a thesis is. Manufactured terrorist threat. Then you see the arrow in the middle pointing to the right. Antithesis, okay? Repressive police state. Then the arrow pointing down and to the left to the word synthesis. The removal of freedom, transfer of power from the many to the few. Now, if you look at that in layman's terms, create a problem, wait for the reaction, give the people a solution to the problem. If you understand that, you understand how the greater majority of governments across the world work, okay, particularly over here in the West. That's going to be very important for what we're about to discuss here tonight. But see, there's a way that you stop this. And let me tell you something. I'm going back to the start of the pandemic again. The reason why they were scrambling, trying to get all the entertainment back up and running, because see, when you're still and you don't have distractions like entertainment, you got time to focus on what really matters. And in this country, you got a lot of corruption going on. And we see it here with this Biden administration. But when you're still, you got time to focus and think on what the cause of your problems are. This is why they had to hurry up and get them distractions back rolling. Don't get me wrong. Entertainment is good. Entertainment is healthy. But sometimes you need to unplug from that and see what so many people unplug, the masses. That's when those that use this type of Hegelian dialectic strategy, that's when they get nervous, okay? Because the last thing that they want to do is to have a critical mass, not even everybody, just a critical mass of people to wake up and say, wait a minute, you the cause of this. We need to be focusing on what you got going on. Never mind going to the Super Bowl, never mind the concerts, never mind the movies. We need to figure out what you got going on and get you up out of here, okay? And see, here's the thing for them. Yeah, all the entertainment is back up and running, but see, those of us that were already focused on the problem, now there have been many that have joined us and they're not going back to sleep. Sure, we'll enjoy the entertainment here or there, but now it's time to focus on who's causing these problems and what we need to do to solve these problems, okay? So now, brace yourself. I got to show this to you, ladies and gentlemen, because you deserve to know. And one of the things I pride myself on doing on my channel is feeding you information that's useful that you can use. And just in case you're on this channel and you didn't know about something, or you finna know about it now, I got to go ahead and show it to you. I hate to do it. It's going to piss you off, but you need to know. Let me show you something. You take this banner down because I want you to see this. Confirm for me, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see this okay on the screen. If not, I shall enhance it further. Please let me know if everyone can see this okay on the screen, because I'm going to give you something to look this up, because when I put something on this screen, I don't like to just put it up here and you take my word for it. In fact, over the years, you know, I always tell you, don't believe a damn thing I say. Take everything I say as if he just up here capping, and then go and research what I show you. That's what I like for my people to do. Okay, so all of y'all can see it okay. I'm going to read it for you, and then I'm going to put where you can find it in the chat. Let's read this. CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and Justice Department, Joe Biden's Justice Department, issued joint statement cautioning that financial institutions may not use immigration status to illegally discriminate against credit applicants. Now, in layman's terms, let me tell you, okay, sure, I'll enhance it a bit because I want y'all to see this. Oh, yes, ma'am. I will definitely enhance it. Let me slide this down and make it a little bit bigger. Roll on up. Okay, so basically in layman's terms, let me tell you what that means. All you hardworking ladies and gentlemen in my chat room that work hard for every dollar that you have, whether you're in the workforce or whether you're a business owner. Basically, what this means is, while you might have an excellent credit score and been trying to get a loan for your business or whatever you need, and they turning you down, well, guess who not going to get turned down? Oh, that's right, the good old illegal immigrants. And just in case y'all think I'm whistling Dixie, you know what I'm about to do. Oh, get ready to save this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm putting the article in the chat. Yes, I sure am. I want you to know what I know. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we're going to put this up in here. I'm going to drop this article right on in this chat room. I surely am. Sure, I got it. All right, if it'll let me. Oh, crap. I think it's a little bit longer than I'm able to put in the chat room. Let me see if I can do something about that. I'll tell you what I'll do. Since it seems to be longer than I can put in the chat, I'm going to put the link to this on the community tab after the broadcast. Don't worry, I'm going to make sure you get this information, or you're going to have the information. I hate that they did that. Let me see if I can squeeze this in here, because I want y'all to have it right now. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. This is madness. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can do it this way. Hold tight. I want y'all to be able to click on this and see it for yourself. Yeah, I'm going to have to put it on the community tab. That's okay, though. Y'all going to be able to see it. Y'all are going to be able to see it. And I'm not done yet. In case you thought that pissed you off, oh, just wait. I got more bad news for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I want all of this to be blamed on the doorstep of the Biden administration, because that's who's doing all this, because this was not being done before this jackass got in office. So me go ahead and take this off the screen. Don't worry, I will put what I just put on the screen. It'll be on the community tab after the broadcast. In fact, the business, I just may put it in the comment section or the description box. Got something else to show you though. Oh, we ain't done yet. Nope. Because I'm pretty sure you all saw this. If you didn't, you're about to see it now. Let's read it, shall we? Obama appointee and liberal Illinois federal judge Sharon Johnson Coleman, remember that name, rules illegal migrants can carry guns. Now, they're not even supposed to be on American soil at all, but now they can carry firearms. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can look that up for yourself at the business. Let me see if they'll let me put this in here, because who knows, on this channel, they probably like, oh, no, nigga, you ain't going to be educating these people over here. Let me see. Okay, they will let me put this article in chat. Back to business. I'm going to put it in here 3 times because I want y'all to be able to see what I'm talking about. Don't believe nothing I say. Look it all up. Oh, yes. Yeah. Hey, sooner or later. And look, don't be surprised if the next thing they do is stop me from putting links in the chat or whatever, because look, they going to stay messing with this channel. But yeah, that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we ain't not done yet, though. I just want to make sure y'all knew about it. Yeah, that article in the chat, make sure you bookmark and save that. Okay? Put it in there 3 times. Got something else to show you. Because, see, I don't like to just talk about issues and problems. I like to issue solutions. So, I must give a shout out to the good brother, Philip Scott, for posting this, because I had to take a screenshot of this and bring this to my audience as well. Now, I'm pretty sure all of you have heard about good old Tyson Foods. Remember when I told y'all who was bringing these illegal aliens up here, who was footing the bill to the cartels at the border, the coyotes to smuggle them people up here? The corporations. Well, I'm right about that, because if you all have been paying attention to the news cycles, you know Tyson Foods, they're ready to hire all the illegal aliens and pay them lower wages so that they can replace your job with them for cheap labor. Didn't I tell you that was going on? Let me say this again, and this is a time-old adage, and it always proves true. When in doubt, always, always, always follow the money. You understand me? Always follow the money. So the reason that I have this on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tyson Foods and a bunch of other brands that are up under the Tyson Foods company. Now, I'm going to pause this for a second because I want all of you in the chat room to do me and yourselves a favor. Screenshot this on the screen. That's why I got my banner down. I'm going to wait. I'll give you about 20 seconds. I want you to screenshot this because, see, you need to boycott all of these damn brands. I'm talking to you too, white America, because, see, if we're going to have corporations over here doing this to us, replacing American citizens with illegals so they can pay them cheaper wages, you better believe that they coming for your job next. We got to teach these bastards a lesson. I'm not buying none of these brands no damn more until they fix that problem. Oh, no. See, that's one thing about me. When I decide to put something down, I'm going to put it all the way down. This right here, I want y'all to screenshot it. All these companies are up under Tyson Foods. And since they want to do that, you have to hand them a punishment. You don't support anything that's determined to harm you as an American citizen. Okay? So just like you got to punish the Democrats, you got to punish their pals, their partners in crime, these damn corporations. Oh, yeah. And look that story up if you hadn't seen that yet. Tyson Foods hiring a bunch of illegal aliens. Oh, that's right. And see, you can't have the mindset of, oh, well, it ain't going to happen to me, man. Nope. If one corporation can get away with this, you better believe the other ones are going to follow suit. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking specifically to Black America, but white America, if you got your nose over here, we at a time in this country right here where we're going to have to remind these people that you're not finna play with us like this. We're tax-paying citizens. As you saw on my community tab, I posted on foreignassistance.gov, the website I always make you all abreast of, Mexico, and I am aware that all the illegals are not from Mexico, but I don't care. They let them come through there. Mexico talking about they're not going to take their illegals back. Well, I'm going to tell you what they need to do. This is the time to go to your representative, like, hey, we need to cut all funding going to Mexico. You going to take them back. Oh, yes, you are. Because, see, Donald Trump had to do that whether you like him or not. When they got acting crazy the last time about not taking their people out, he's like, okay, I got something for that. Cut that pocketbook off. Cut that off. And then they got their minds right. Yeah. So I want to make sure y'all got that up here. That's why I'm leaving it up here for a minute. Give you a couple more seconds just in case some people are just coming in. I'll say it yet again. These are all the brands that are under Tyson Foods and Tyson Foods say they're going to hire illegal aliens so they can pay them on the table and just put you, the American taxpayer and person that needs a job, out of a job. You got to punish them, because if you don't, they will continue to make this a trend amongst other corporations, okay? So now, go ahead and take that down, because I got a little bit more business to deal with here before we get into the rest of what I want to show you here tonight. But we're not done yet. Like I said, we get into the main subject matter, you will not see national security in this country the same again. On the screen, I'm going to play this. Then I'm going to make my commentary on this, because I know y'all like, why has he got the coonstress up here? Well, I'm going to play something, I'm going to let her speak, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on something here, because I'm hoping that all of you will agree with this, because it's something that definitely needs to be done. I'm going to let this play, then I will give my commentary.
Said when it comes to the arts and creativity, I just find Black American to be funnier. I think we're also funnier. I think we have a natural sense of humor. Like when we're comedians, we do it the best. Also when we sing, we do it the best. When we're athletes, we do it the best.
See, Black pride. Yes, Candace.
I say this on
That's
my
what
show.
we want, Candace. Black pride. Not all of the other shit that makes us say, damn, is she proud to be Black or is she not proud to be Black?
And if you watch my show, you're not hearing anything new. This is what I say. This is the lessons in all of that. Forget the headline about what I said, but why I say it offends me. I'll say because this is what I grew up with, and this is what I know we are capable of. Because I know you can do better. And I know who's making the decisions in the boardroom. And I see their evil game, and it's Machiavellian, and I'm just not having it. That's why I'm not allowed to speak to Black Americans beyond the headlines. That's why they want to separate us, is because they are worried about what would happen if there was a Black Renaissance.
Okay, that was the coonstress there. Could y'all hear that okay? Could everybody hear what she was saying okay? Because I'm going to be honest with you, what she was saying, not even important. But I'm going to give my commentary on this Candace Owens thing. Let me go ahead and get this off my chest. A lot of people have been going on about how intelligent Candace Owens is. And, oh, she's smart this, she's smart that. Oh, she playing a game. She gripped and this, that, the third. Which she is. Those people are right. Don't get me wrong. They're right. But let me say something to y'all, right? Because, see, you saw the few things that I just showed you in the beginning of this broadcast. Let me be the one to say this, and I don't care who this pisses off. I don't give two rat nuts how smart or intelligent Candace Owens or anybody is. The question that you need to ask is, regardless of how smart the bastard is or the bastress, can you trust them? The answer is no. So for the people that keep going on about how smart Candace Owens is, who gives a fuck how smart that bitch is? She's not on our side. Any piece of shit that will sit here and make excuses about a man on the ground, handcuffed with 4 officers and one kneeling on his neck, making excuses with the white supremacists, I don't give a damn how smart that bitch is. You got a lot of treacherous, smart people in amongst us, unfortunately. And see, let me go ahead and deal with something else, too. All this we talk, there is no we. We're going to have to really start checking 2 groups of people. We're going to have to start checking these tethers when they start talking about we, because ain't no we. And we're going to have to start checking both political parties anytime something is mentioned about Black America and you start talking about Black and brown. There is no black and. Let me say it again. Let me say it again for the slow bus crowd that might be listening to this on the playback or live. There is no we. There is no black and, because nobody reciprocates to Black America. We are in a time of crisis in this nation as an entire country, but definitely as Black America. That's who I'm gonna focus on, my people first. So all of this, how smart she is or anybody, not just Candace, the question you better be asking is, can you trust that motherfucker? And I don't know about you, but I don't want to trust her as far as I can throw this damn planet. You understand me? So that's something I want y'all to start writing down these people that's talking about how smart she is. Who cares, man? That motherfucker ain't riding for black people, man. I don't care how smart she is. What good is her intelligence if you using it against us? So that's my thoughts on that. I had to get that off my chest. So now that I've got the preliminaries out the way, we got to cover some more cooning here, and I'm gonna tell you something. It's gonna be a lot of notes to take in tonight's broadcast. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with something that I want you to see here because it's definitely an issue and a problem, similar to the Candace Owens situation. I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and we're gonna get started dealing with a whole bunch of things here tonight.
We touched on it earlier. Charles's comments created a lot of buzz over the last few days. A conversation about Donald Trump, who has said his criminal indictments and mugshot have endeared him to black voters. It's been everywhere, even creating topics for some of our fellow news networks. So we talked about President Biden's enthusiasm problem among black Americans. But the flip side of that coin is this, the appeal of Donald Trump to certain black voters. So let's talk about that with Coleman Hughes. He has joined us on stage. He's a podcast host and CNN political analyst whose new book, The End of Race Politics, Arguments for a Colorblind America, is available now. I'm always fascinated by the term colorblind. I always wonder, Coleman, is that possible? Also joining us is CNN senior political commentator Van Jones is here. Great to have you guys here.
Awesome.
Coleman, let's start with you. What do you make of the president's comments? I hear you see things a little differently.
Well, yeah, I don't think they're offensive. I'm not going to punch anyone in the face, but that doesn't mean they're right either. So if you look at it, Donald Trump's been gaining steam amongst black voters since prior to 2020. The polls from 2022, before the first indictment, actually showed him picking up a lot of steam too. Mm-hmm. So whatever the trend is, it's probably not the indictments. It's probably a dissatisfaction with Democrats in general. You also look at him polling against other Republicans.
But he named the
also
indictments
polling well
specifically,
with black,
though.
Right, so
he named the indictments.
He named them. So I don't think he's right about that, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think the indictment is what is drawing black voters towards him.
What do you
think? It's clearly
it
something
is?
else.
Now, let me go ahead and deal with this right off the bat here because, see, we got a lot to critique here over here tonight. Coleman Hughes Cruz is Puerto Rican and Cuban, from my understanding. He's a telder. You are not qualified to speak for black America. In fact, let me not make that mistake. You are not qualified to speak for foundational black American freedmen. Because, see, I almost made the mistake of just saying black American, and y'all know a lot of people find that controversial when I say it. I'm going to break it down yet again. When you just say black American, that includes the tether class. We need to be specific in who we're talking about, especially when it comes to reparations or anything that affects our people. Foundational black American freedmen of our specific lineage. Coleman, Cruz, Hughes, you are not qualified to speak for us. You are not. And I'm going to go here with it. Van Jones, far as I know, he is of our lineage, unless y'all can prove otherwise. You're not qualified to speak for us either, Van Jones, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you're a soft-spined Democrat bootlicking shield. Just the same way I would get on a soft-spined, buck-dancing, bootlicking conservative shield. Shields and buck-dancing buffoons that are tethers are not qualified to speak on our lineage. I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, gathered in my chat room over here. All of us are going to have to tighten up on these people and let them know that, hey, no, you have no authority to speak for us. Because, see, let me tell you what's going to have to start happening. When you see these different places where they have the Kamala Harrises and all the rest of them and a bunch of the different little flunkies, Clyburn's or what have you, and they start talking about black and we going to have to start running down on them like, hey, no. Or look, we going to have to start doing things like pretending to be cooning and buffooning, like we Democrat shields or whatever, and like, hey, now first let's go ahead and get this straight. There is no black and brown. You talking about black and nothing because you don't say Latino and black or whatever when you're talking to these other groups, the Asians, et cetera, okay? We're going to have to clamp down on that. So this bastard right here sitting up here talking about speaking for us on anything, no, you don't get to speak on our behalf about nothing. And they know what they're doing, okay? They know what they're doing. They got that Sambo, Charles Barkley up here, soft-spine Democrat shield, Van Jones, and a tether that's not of our lineage. Nah, so I'm going to let them continue with their commentary, then I'm going to continue drilling down on this.
What do you think it is?
Well, I think frankly, it could just be that, first of all, this trend is a lot of younger black voters. Basically, it's black men under 30 that are moving towards the Republican Party, black men basically my age. And it could just be a general dissatisfaction with the message that the Democratic Party is telling black people. They're telling black people essentially, nothing is your fault, it's all systemic racism, and that's actually not appealing to a lot of younger men. Younger men prefer to be told your life is in your own control, and you can make your own destiny.
Why don't you think it's offensive?
Let me go ahead and deal with this, because see, this is why they put this little bootlicking tether up here. Yes, your life is in your control to a certain extent. Oh yes, we don't ever tell you not to get up and do everything in your power to acquire skills, okay? To try to keep learning new things, to try to keep improving and making sure you do the best that you can do in your particular chosen profession, or if you're trying to become a business owner, etc. None of us ever say that. But what we're not going to do, Coleman Cruz Hughes, is act like there's not a system of white supremacy in place that works against foundational black American freedmen in particular. And I've showed you several things at the beginning of this broadcast that proves my point on that. We've got this administration here, the most treasonous ever, that should be brought up on charges of treason, in my opinion, working to allow illegal aliens, people that's not even supposed to be over here, to get privileges and benefits that none of us can get. Even one of Obama's bootlicking appointees, that federal judge, is saying that she wants them to have Second Amendment rights. Let me tell you something, man. Boy, when see, now y'all see, and I'm not going to mention the specific situation, but those of you in New Black Media Space know what I'm talking about. Now you see why I keep telling you, don't get caught up in that Days of Our Lives BS about decisions that people have made in their personal life. We don't have time for that. You understand me? See, this is why I tell you, over here on this channel, we don't deal with the chatty-patty nonsense and the foolishness. We deal with real-world issues over here. So this foolishness right here, this is what we better be focused on, and we better be focused on countering this and staying on code and focusing on what's really important to us. Let's let it continue.
I think that's interesting. You said, I don't think it's offensive.
You said it was wrong. So
I think it's like incorrect.
He did say it was wrong.
But it doesn't offend me as an idea.
Yeah.
The idea in theory that people would rally behind Trump because he's being unfairly persecuted, and that resonates with black people's feeling of being unfairly persecuted, that's not offensive to me in theory. I just don't think it's the actual reason why people are going towards him. It has nothing to do with that.
I was offended. I appreciate your point. I was offended.
I was offended too.
But maybe it's a generational thing. What you're saying is that he does kind of have this kind of outlaw image that's going on now, and that might be somewhat appealing. But I think in his mind, he associates black people with criminality. So I think in his mind, what he did with the Central Park Five and that sort of stuff. So to me, it was a tell. Just the same way that he said the new Republican contender for one of the governorships is Dr. King times 10. This guy's not a civil rights guy at all, but he's black, and so you can see in his.
Let me go ahead and stop this milk dud head bootlicking buffoon, because see, Van Jones. Let's see. And salute to Amir L for the cash out. Thank you very much for that, my brother. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me get on this milk dud head buffoon right quick. Van Jones, you know who else associates black people with criminality? The Democratic Party, because every time they talk about doing something specifically for black people, what's the first thing they go to? Oh, we're going to have criminal justice reform, as if all black people are criminals. You see, this is why I have no respect for this little bald head maggot on the screen right here. I have no respect for him. He's a spineless, bootlicking sack of dog shit, in my opinion. Yes, I'm saying it. If you type of person, oh, he cursing, yeah, get off my channel. I don't sugarcoat things over here. This is serious business, and we're going to have to put our B1 feet on their behinds, okay? We're going to have to do that. Got this clown sitting up here only looking at one half of the party. See, let me talk to the conservatives for a minute, the Republican Party. If you want to court the black vote, you better come talking business. You better not try to pull that same crap with the Democrat Party, because we're going to treat you just like we treat them. You're going to have to come to the table talking business, because voting is a business transaction. Those of us that are not boomers, and I'm not saying all boomers, if you one of the boomers that's on code, okay, we're not talking about you. But those of you boomers that are just gonna vote blue no matter who, and the rest of you cornballs and tether winches, and and you bed books to better stand and winches of crafting, like I like to call them, you over there in the goofy corner. Generation X that's on code, millennials that are on code, and Gen Z that are on code, you're going to have to come to the table with the bag, talking business and policy specifically for us. If you don't, we're not moving off where our stance is. You're going to get talking about this anti-black hate crime bill, and you're going to get talking about these reparations. That's the only way. Look, those are the main two issues we talking about. We're going to get to talking about what you're going to do to make things better for black business owners. Because, see, those of us with common sense, we don't want no damn social programs. You cannot get yourself in an economically stable position or have generational wealth to pass down to your children on no damn social program. Yeah, see, I already know. I just pissed all the hood rats off. Oh, my God, the social credit. You damn right. I hope they flush all them damn things down the toilet because white America mostly benefit from it anyway. Owsley County, Kentucky, anybody? Yeah, I'm going there. Yeah, see, this is the type of mind frame we on over here. We're not playing no games. So Van Jones, the Democrat Party does that. But see, you never going to mention that. And I don't expect you to. You're a bootlicking shield. But I'm going to mention over here tonight. Let's let it continue.
Crime, Dr. King, crime, Dr. King, black. So I was offended by that. But I think you put your finger on something very important. I do think that Trump seems strong right now. You got people jumping on 957 lawsuits, all these felonies and stuff. If I had one felony, I'd be home crying. Yeah. This dude has
or you'd be in jail, Van.
Oh, true. I'd be in jail crying.
Or you'd be in jail. But that.
Let me pause and get back on him because, see, we all remember his embarrassing displays and lack of masculinity. Big overgrown man, and yes, this is a bed book because his wife is he's got an alabaster for a wife. Up here crying on TV. But man, you know what? Let me say something. I'm going to go beyond Van Jones. Whoever your father is should be ashamed of himself. A big overgrown man. Every time you talk about, if I heard a feeling, I'll be crying. Let me ask the brothers in the chat something, and I want you ladies to sign off on this as well. If you had a man that you had to depend on to solve problems for, ladies and brothers, if we were in a combat situation or a life or death situation, and you got a dude that's sitting up here when it's a problem in front of you talking about, I feel like crying. How many of you will have confidence dealing with somebody like that? A grown man. Look, don't get me wrong. We're human. Yes. There's a time and a place for you to shed tears. But when it's time to solve problems, that's not the time. And see, let me talk to you for a minute. For those of you that don't know, let me introduce myself to you. Let me tell you something. You talking to GBS over here. I'm a Gen X and I'm old school. And yes, I'm ex-military. Yes, everybody knows that. Y'all know particularly what branch too. For those of you on my Patreon, I went over that. I don't brag about it because I do not encourage young black men and women to do that today for many different reasons. I think since we fought in every war this country has ever had, I cannot in good conscience encourage young black men and women to do that. So that's why I don't talk about that much on my main channel. But let me tell you something. I don't believe, and I was not raised to sit down and put my damn head in my hands and start crying every time something go wrong. As men, we have to get up every day as black men in America and do things that are difficult, things we don't want to do, things we shouldn't have to do. But if you have a family to take care of, if you care about your community, if you care about yourself, hey, as a black man in America, you ain't got nothing coming to you for free. Everything you get, you're going to have to get it out the mud. So you got a soft-spine jackass like this that they put on TV on purpose because they want to promote this type of lack of masculinity to black men and young black boys on TV. See, when you have a black man that's talking like I'm talking, and you know what? I'll even take it to the entertainment zone for a minute. When you have masculine black men like a Denzel Washington, remember his portrayal of Malcolm X? You know why they ain't never had another portrayal of that? Because that sent a message to our entire community, especially young black boys. Nah, you want a Van Jones up here always, you can't, man, a feeling. Boy, see, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I can't be around dudes like that, man. I can't. I have to get away from them. I cannot be around that soft noodle spine nonsense. We are in critical times now where masculinity is needed more than ever because we got some decisions to make with our own code sisters that's going to determine the future of our people for generations to come. And this sorry soft spine clown right here, this is not an example that we need to promote. I just had to get that off my chest. Let's let it continue.
Only seems to boost his popularity.
And I just do think that right now, people are hurting and uncertain. You go in the grocery store, you spend $300, and the food runs out by Wednesday. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
The world seems to be on fire. And then here's this guy who's just strong. Now, he's strong and wrong, but he does seem strong. And I think that does have some appeal. And I think that we got to deal with that. I also do think.
But he's also very fluid with the truth, and that doesn't seem to matter to people either.
You are a well-raised sister. She's fluid with the truth. She didn't say you're a damn liar. She said,
But you know what I mean. And that doesn't bother you, Coleman?
Oh, his lying definitely bothers me. I didn't vote for him, and I wouldn't vote for him. But for a lot of voters, I agree, view him as strong. And there's actually been some polls of Republicans that like him. And a lot of them agree with all of the same criticisms that you just said. They know he's a liar, but they like that he's strong. And especially when you put him up against Joe Biden, who with each passing day just looks worse and worse and more feeble, having that next to a person that is relatively strong.
Because, guys, I don't necessarily think it's about age. I think it's about a person's energy and a person's vitality.
That's right. It's not the number.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think it's the number.
That's right.
I think it's about how they carry themselves.
That's exactly right.
Oh, let me get on Gayle King. See this right here? Let me tell you something. Let me take the time to say this to my sisters, because I think all of you, if you're a black woman over here in my chat room, you pretty much, gonna probably agree with this. But just in case you find my tone or the way I describe things somewhat harsh, because it's needed. Okay, we don't need soft rhetoric today. We do not. Don't ever sound like a Gayle King, because she's talking about, oh, well, I don't think it's about the age, and I don't think it's about how you carry yourself. Gayle King, it's not about no age or carrying yourself, nothing. It's about, are you a competent enough decision maker that can conduct the proper policy and secure this nation the right way, as far as on an economic level and a physical level, as far as getting these damn illegal aliens out of here, not allowing them here in the first place. See, you notice she didn't say nothing about policy. She talking about age and all this other nonsense. See, ladies, let me tell you something. What I just said, that's going to be, those of you who are on coasters, that's going to be your job to tighten down on the Gayle Kings that's talking nonsense. Everything across the board must be about taking care of business. You understand? And if you think that I'm just talking, oh, trust me, we ain't even got half the stuff that I'm going to show you here tonight. Just wanted to get that off my chest and let it continue.
Berg is, I think, in his 80s.
Yes.
I mean, he is sharp as a tack.
Yes,
Bernie Sanders. So I do think that the way that Biden carries himself, his stutter, which I worked for him in the Obama White House. He always had that stutter, but it does seem a lot worse. And so I do think that, hurts. And then also on policy. We're all friends here. We can talk. There were things that black voters want and expected and hoped for in 2020. Police reform, the George Floyd Policing Act, but it didn't pass. Voting rights, the John Lewis Voting Rights Bill, that didn't pass.
I'm not going to let Milk Dud Head, the other Milk Dud Head, because now you're looking at Charles Barkley, Milk Dud Head, coon that he is. Salute to Nathaniel Perry for the cash out. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. I'm not going to let this Milk Dud Head clown get away with this. Van Jones, you talking about that like, oh, it just accidentally didn't pass. No, Jim Crow Joe Biden said with the George Floyd Accountability Policing Act, whatever, I'm going to leave that to Congress. That's what he said. That's what he said. Everything that he promised black Americans, he just left that by the wayside. Not one specific policy has been done for us. He let the Asians leapfrog us and gave them a hate crime bill, didn't even include us in it. When we are the leading victims of hate crimes, according to the FBI crime statistics, going back 10 plus years or better. You're not going to sit here and just act like, oh, it just accidentally didn't get done. No, the man didn't do anything for us. And he's not going to. It was never his intention to. And we tried to tell these goofy bisexuals that sit there and was so afraid of one man. Oh, we got to get Trump out. Oh, Trump. Let me tell you something. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I don't care who I offend. If that was your mindset, don't claim to be no Christian. Don't claim to believe in any faith, because if you that is afraid of a damn man, a mortal man, oh God, Trump, oh Trump. Man, you don't claim to have no type of faith in nothing. You can't. Let me tell you something. I don't care who's a racist or who's not. All I care about is what you're going to do for my community. All of them have been racist in power. But they've done, we forced them to do things for us, whether it's Lyndon Baines Johnson, et cetera, et cetera. All I care about is what are you going to do for me and my community? Because that racism stuff, oh, we can deal with that. We know how to deal with that. They sat here and, oh, we got to get Trump out because he said some things you didn't like. I don't care what he say. We ain't got to go home with him, lay up in the bed with him or nothing. Nah, what are you going to do for our community? That's what I care about. And see, right now, it's either two ways it's going to go. You got some people that's going to vote for Trump. That's their right because it's called voting rights. You can exercise it or not and vote for whoever you choose. Or you cannot exercise your voting rights and sit on the couch. That is also your right. So that's the two options that people are looking at in Black America. And let's be honest, the president that's going to fix this illegal immigration is going to be Donald Trump, okay? And for those who are like, you sound like a Republican, how much they paying you? I'm going to say something to you. I've said this many times. I'm not liberal nor conservative, not Democrat nor Republican. But I'll tell you this, whichever one is going to do something for my community, that's who can get my vote. But you're going to have to earn it with tangibles. So I'm going to say this for them people that always try to go, oh, you sound like a Republican. If I was and they were doing something, what you going to do about it? Huh? If they were doing something for my community and I decided to do that, what the hell are you going to do about it? See, that's the type of attitude we're going to have to start taking for these people. Now, my stance on it is until they cut the check or start giving us tangible positives, hey, it's a couch for me. It's a couch for me, and I will help other people that's trying to run for office, like our good brother Greg Marcel Dixon. I'll help them doing that in whatever way I can. But as far as giving them my vote for free, no. I've said it many times. If you won't work for free, you shouldn't vote for free. Let me go ahead and deal with the whole, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Okay, let's deal with that. Let's deal with that. Because they always holler about, our voting rights in trouble, voting rights, voting rights, voting rights. Okay, let's deal with it. Family, have you ever stopped to use the logic on these people that use that asinine line? Okay, the asinine line is what we're going to call it. If, according to them, because some of us believe it was finesse, and I don't need to go there because they get sensitive when you start talking about that election. If all them people turn out in record numbers when they claim more people showed up for Biden than Obama, which I do not believe, but if all them black people had no problem voting, why all of a sudden their voting rights threatened now? Come on now. It don't make sense. So they could vote before just fine. But now all our voting rights are just threatened. We can vote anytime we get ready. But let's go here. Let me play devil's advocate. Let's go here. Let's go here, right? But see, I want to give y'all something to shut that nonsense down. Anywhere you go, if you go to a city council meeting or wherever and they start that nonsense, I got something how you shut that down. Here you go right here. This is what you do. When they start talking like that, say, okay, cool. You say our voting rights are threatened. We in so much trouble. Oh, our voting rights. Oh, it's so threatened to vote. We just can't vote. We can't vote. Then say, okay, well, how about you push for amending the Constitution where you don't have to have our civil rights and voting rights voted on every 25 years or so. White people don't have to have their rights decided every 25 years or so. So if you're really that concerned about it, how about you do something about it? See, put their feet to the fire and be like, okay, you serious about that? Next time one don't come up there with that foolishness and wasting your time, say, okay, you serious about it? Cool, I got a solution for the problem because you keep talking about the problem. Let's get to the solution. How about you go back up there on Capitol Hill and in the Congress and say, hey, let's just go ahead and solve this voting rights problem for the black people. Make it a permanent part of the Constitution. Problem solved. Let's let it continue.
More progress on criminal justice, the Equal Act. That didn't pass. And so once you get past the emotionality and this, that, and the other, you just kind of look to Charles' point, what did we get for our vote? Look, the economy is better than it could have been. I love a lot of stuff he did. But if you just look at that particular set of issues, you could be disappointed.
Yeah,
On the other hand, though,
let me ask a quick question because this is go back to something you said. The reason, and obviously I'm only speaking for myself. The reason I think the Democratic Party and Mr. Biden, President Biden, is losing black votes is they only care about black people every 4 years. They come into our neighborhoods and say, we're going to make stuff better. We're going to do this, do this, do this. And then finally, us black people are like, man, other than my ability to dunk a basketball, all my neighborhoods are still the same. Our schools are still the same. And that's why I think black people are leaving disappointed in the Democratic Party, because I ain't gonna lie, I voted Democratic every time just because I thought it was gonna help black people and poor people. Because black people and poor white people, they're in the same boat. And like, I didn't care who the president was, I'm not gonna lie, but I voted.
All right, let me go ahead and deal with old round mound the rebound here, as he's known or was known. Okay, Charles Barkley got something right and he got something wrong. Now, a lot of people know how I run it over here on my channel. Oh, you splitting hairs? You damn right, because we in a splitting hairs time in our community. What Charles Barkley got right was he's correct. The Democrats, and I'm talking about them mainly because that's going back the last 60 plus years. That's who most of our community has given their votes to in a block, because we're the only group in this country that votes in a block. They do only come around every 4 years, or every when the midterms coming up every 2 years. Oh man, this is the most important election of our time. And then when you give them the majority, because see, now you bisexuals, oh, we got you now. You gave them the majority in everything. They had the presidency, the House, and the Senate, and they still hadn't done nothing for you. Sound familiar? Barack Obama's presidency? Oh, yeah. How many times y'all gonna have to learn that lesson? Huh? So he's right on that. The part that he got wrong is, and this is something we're gonna have to be vehement about, not just passively or slightly check people. We're gonna have to start seriously checking people, because see, when you are engaged in making decisions that determine the outcome of your empowerment, you don't have time to be polite or play games, okay? And you can do that without cursing them out, okay? You know, there's a time and a place for some good old-fashioned expletives, okay? I don't rule them out. There's a time and a place for it. But one of the things that he got wrong, and don't you ever let nobody say this, black people and poor whites in the same boat. No, the hell we not. Because them poor white people, they got $1 million worth of whiteness they can cash in the system of white supremacy anytime that none of our black asses can cash in. Let me tell you something. Right now, no matter, and I know I have some well-to-do people over here, I'm one of them, but not me, nor none of you. No matter what your net worth is, you can't go and buy the defense that Kyle Rittenhouse got in court. Oh no, you can't do that. I ain't never seen that. Have you? Look, let me ask the question. You know what? Let me stop making statements. Let me ask a question to my chat room. Is there anyone in my chat room listening to me live? Okay, and if you listen and record it, put it in the comments. I want to ask a question. Does anybody in here know anybody that you related to, anybody that you acquainted with, went to school, college with, etc., worked with? Do you know anybody that's did what Kyle Rittenhouse did and got that same defense from basically his judge was his de facto defense attorney? Does anybody here know anybody like that? Because I don't now. Let me just speak for myself. I don't know anybody. I don't know no black person. I want to be specific. I'm talking about a black person. Do you know anybody that's black that was able to get the Kyle Rittenhouse defense? That's what I want to know. Because I don't know nobody that was able to do that. Our black dollars cannot buy that. You understand me? I don't care how much money you have. So don't you ever let nobody make that silly statement Charles Barkley made. Let it continue.
I only voted Republican one time in my life, and that was for John Kasich, and I didn't even know he couldn't win. But then I'm starting to look like, man, I understand why black people are leaving, want to vote for somebody else, because every 4 years they come into our neighborhoods and say, man, we're gonna make things better for you.
Well, I think that's true, and I'll let you go. I do want to point out though that poor black folks have been voting for Democrats for 2 generations, not as much progress as you want. Poor white folks have been voting for Republicans in Appalachia and other places for 3 generations or 4, and not that much progress. So there's a poor people problem with both parties. But
I think what you highlighted might be a reason why some black voters stay home. But if we're asking why are certain black...
I got to do this, man. Boy, CNN, Caucasian Nazi Network, let me just go ahead and call you what you are. You look at the image of these black men they got up here. A big, overgrown, bald-head Sambozo, Charles Barkley, a tether, and look at it, a little old scrawny. He just looked like everything about Coleman Cruz Hughes looked like weak, soft-spined man. Okay, male rather. I'm not going to grace him and dignify him with the term man. And don't get me started again on Van Jones, the crime man Jones, big overgrown bedbug. Sorry excuses for black masculinity up there on the screen, man. It's absolutely pathetic. And then put up here as if they speak for us, which they do not. Let me tell you something, man. When we getting ready to go in this country, that's something we're going to have to take care of on the grassroots level, because let's be clear, all change that really matters starts on the grassroots level, okay? It don't start from the top with the political parties. No, it starts with us. All you got to do is study our history in this nation and see that the few rights that we do have, that started from the grassroots in this company and in this country, okay? It started from us. Them people have never done anything benevolent in our favor unless we force them to do it, okay? By whatever means we have to. This right here nonsense, though, this can't be tolerated. People are not going to deal with the Democrats because you're not coming with nothing tangible, and we see you papering up illegal immigrants with our tax dollars, and you're not willing to do nothing for our homeless people. See, all that money that they've been spending on Ukraine, the Afghan refugees, they quietly bringing the Ukrainians over here because you can't really tell who they are unless they start talking, okay? All this money you spending, just in 3 areas combined. Don't you know if they would have put that money towards America first, okay, like a lot of them like to say, that would have solved the homeless problem. Huh? So that shows you, and see, this is why you got to turn up on those brothers and sisters' behalf and stand shoulder to shoulder with them, because think about it. If you can put illegal aliens up and get them off the streets, that means you could have did that all along for the homeless people. So you just didn't want to do it, huh? Oh, because you think you're going to get them over here for cheap labor and you think you're going to have a new voting class, you're going to try to turn them all into citizens. That's what you're thinking you're going to do, which is going to backfire because all of them get over here and then vote Republican because they all want to be up under what they consider the winning white team, which is the conservative Republican Party. So that strategy of the Democrats is absolutely asinine. It's not going to work. Then you got them coming over here committing crimes left and right. I told you, man, in my opinion, Biden and his entire administration needs to be brought up on charges of treason. But we're going to let these sound bowls continue right here.
Voters switching from Democrat to Republican, I don't think they're switching to Trump or to other Republicans because they think those Republicans are going to actually make change. I think those voters are switching for other reasons, just because they actually don't like the message that Democrats are sending to them as black people, and especially as young black people. Because again, this trend is not happening throughout black America. It's confined basically to black men under 30.
Okay, I have a. You're concerned about.
How old are you, Coleman? Do you
28.
28. And we're proud of you, by the way. I mean, this brother for a 28-year-old. Yeah. I mean, so you're making us proud.
Thank you, Van.
I think.
I'm going to say it right now. You know you feel a failure at life when Van Jones says he's proud of you. A man that doesn't have an ounce of masculinity in him, that's always crying on national TV, telling you he's proud of you. And look, no, Van, you don't speak for us. We're not proud of each other. This boy get up here at a reparations hearing, you not of our lineage, talk about what we shouldn't get when you're not even qualified. See, I keep telling y'all, embed this into your mind. These two words, political punishment. That's what we owe these Democrats. We owe them political punishment. These jokers are not our representatives.
You're onto something, and at the same time, I question this. This is also the generation that's mostly on social media, and often is only getting their news now through TikTok and Instagram. Yeah. And I'm concerned that there are some concerted efforts, maybe even not from the United States efforts, to push this distress and this depression and this. I don't think it's just Democrats run a victim narrative. I think you're saying Democrats run a victim narrative. People don't like that. That's never been that appealing. But
see, Van, in a way, as much as I despise you, you're the gift that keeps on giving right here in this segment. Because see, instead of you saying that you concerned about young people having to be in an economy where we have never seen before, where they got to pay 3 times the rent to get an apartment, not a house, an apartment. Inflation is through the roof. You got Biden trying to attack those of them that say, okay, if the economy with the regular jobs are not going the way I need them to go, hey, let me get out here and hustle, make it do what it do with Uber or whatever you got to do. So Biden's attacking them, trying to make those companies change them from independent contractors to employees so you can extra tax them. So it couldn't be that. In other words, you're trying to, it could be foreign influence, as if these young people don't understand what this economy is doing to them. You disrespectful son of a bitch, you. I have no respect for this maggot, man. But see, I like this, though. I like this because, see, in conjunction with those of them that's talking about they gonna pass that bill and ban TikTok, you go ahead and do that. You boy, you go right ahead and do that. And mark my words, I'm saying it right here. Y'all gonna come back and be like, GPS said it. You want to galvanize particularly Gen Z? Never mind the millennials and Gen X, Gen Z in particular, to vote for Trump just to show you? Go ahead and pass that bill. Go ahead and put that on Biden this and let him sign and ban TikTok. Okay. See, let me tell you something, the language I do understand. As a Gen Xer, I'm different from millennials. We got different customs. Definitely a far cry from Gen Z. Yeah, we might critique them on this, that, the third about different things, but let me tell you what I do understand about Gen Z. That's the generation that if you play with their money, they understand that better than anybody, and they will act on that quicker than anybody. Don't believe me? Go ahead and put them to the test and ban TikTok and see what happened to you. Let's let it continue.
I think there's something happening on social media where I'm seeing over and over again messages basically saying don't vote, saying why should we vote, acting as if nothing has been achieved. I would say at least this. Maybe you can't get what you want by voting, but you can sure lose what you got by not voting.
Yeah.
And so you at least need to vote defensively. And that seems to be being pushed back on. So I think that some of it might be not liking the message, but some of it might be.
Okay, Van. See, this is the part, another reason why I don't respect him, because he doesn't respect young people, because that's who he was particularly talking to just then, and talking about you can lose what you got by not voting. Actually, Van, no. If they go and vote for the same people that's taking things away from them, they still gonna lose it. You talking to these young people like they don't have any sense. See, this right here is gonna get you the political punishment that I'm talking about and rightly deserved. Because we all need to be on that across Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. But especially those of you in Gen Z, listen to how he's insulting your intelligence. You've already seen what Biden has done with these 2 years that he's been in, okay? These years that he's been in here, okay? These 4. You see what he's done. You get this man another 4 years, you ain't gonna recognize nothing in this country. You not. All these illegal, anti-black illegal aliens that's flooding over here at that. Then the way he keeps attacking small business owners. And you're going to talk to these young people as if they don't have any common sense at all. That's what you're going to do. They've had 4 years of this bastard in office, ruining everything that they've been doing to try to make a living and try to survive. Particularly in Black America, and you gonna talk to them like they don't have no sense? See, basically, them going out just to vote blue no matter who, and I've said this many times, that's the equivalent of the trees voting for the damn axe. None of us with any sense are gonna do that. Some people are gonna choose the couch, and some people are gonna vote the other side. Because you made that happen. Look, if you really didn't want people to go and vote for Trump, because that's what they all scared about, except for Charles Barkley. He lying. He gonna support Trump. That man's a business owner. You can't make me believe what he just said was true, talking about he voted Democrat. I don't believe that. That man got way too much money to vote for the Democrats that are anti-business. Yeah, I said it. You gonna sit here and expect people to go and support people that's been steady slitting their throat? No, that's just not gonna happen. Some people are gonna vote Couch Chillington. That's what I call it, the candidate, Couch Chillington. Don't know about y'all, but Couch Chillington is very comfortable to me, okay? Or some people gonna say, hey, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm gonna vote the other side. You and the Biden administration did that. So if you didn't want the people to vote the other side, you should have given people the same policies that you gave other groups, because they're particularly worried about young Black voters. Let's be clear. That's who they're really worried about. That's who they're really worried about. But see, go ahead and ban that TikTok, though. I want them to do it. Go ahead. Ban TikTok. I can't wait. That's going to be the ultimate catalyst. You want to see young people turn out in droves? Ban TikTok. Go ahead. Keep playing. Fight the business. Go ahead and ban some more stuff that they're making money off of right now. Go ahead and do that. Watch what happens to you come November.
Actual online influence operations, are you concerned at all that some of the stuff is artificial?
It certainly could be happening. I mean, I know that for a fact when they looked into the years between, say, 2014 and 2020, they saw that there were actual Facebook pages created by Russia, but those pages, well, they were playing both sides of the equation.
Yeah,
they were inflaming Trump supporters, but they were also planning BLM rallies, right? They were inflaming both sides to try to destroy the country.
But that is the Russian propaganda model, where you create polarization and then you get people so frustrated that.
See, this is how you know they've been given this script from the top of the Democratic Party, okay? Because you keep acting like people don't live in this country and they're experiencing what's been happening under this administration. A Russian ain't got to tell you what them grocery prices is when you go to the store, do they? Huh? A Russian ain't got nothing to do with that. A Russian ain't got nothing to do with all these damn illegal aliens being allowed to come up here and attack people, okay? The Russians ain't got nothing to do with that. We can see those things with our own eyes. Huh? The Russians ain't got nothing to do with a Obama federally appointed bootlicking Sambo-ass judge talking about giving illegal aliens Second Amendment rights. The Russians ain't got nothing to do with that. Huh? See, one thing I don't like is people trying to piss in my face and tell me it's yellow rain. But boy, like I said, they keep on giving. Your shields, Democrat Party, are going to be your undoing. You want to play with these young people? Okay, they're going to show you. You're going to learn exactly who you're dealing with, because, see, this is the problem with the Boule Bird Martins. They're not connected to any of the younger people. I'm talking about people that are 30 and 30 to the 40, okay? The 30 to 40 window, you know what I'm saying? I'll say 18 to 40. They're not connected to none of these people. They don't talk to none of these people. They stay on the croissant circuit and run around trying to be at every type of luncheon they can be in. You see Boule Bird Martin with no neck. I don't see what that joker is an 8-1 of the world. I don't see how he's moving around with no neck in sight. I have never seen that man's neck. Never. And you running around here always talking about what young people need to do, this, that, the third. No. What needs to happen is you need to start, you want to get their attention? Give them tangible policies. They are United States citizens, okay? They're taxpayers if they're in the workforce, and they're not going to keep supporting a party that don't do nothing for them. In fact, that work against them. It's just not going to happen. So see, family, I'm going to tell you something. We're in a great time right now because they're going to learn a lesson. Oh, they're going to be taught come November. They're not going to, look, what's going to happen in November, mark my words, it's going to be such a turnaround, they ain't going to know what to do. But see, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. If everything goes like it should, because hopefully the intelligent Americans will do the right thing, whether it's sit the couch or vote the other side, whatever you do, don't give your vote to them damn Democrats. Not only should Joe Biden not get back in there if everything goes the way it should, the Democrats don't need to win for another 4 or 5 election cycles. They need to be punished for this. Because see, this stuff right here that they're doing, let me tell you something. All these politicians that you see, the Brandon Johnsons, the Eric Adams, and all the rest of them, don't you know they're getting kickbacks from these corporations for look, let me just go ahead and tell you how it works, okay? You get your buck dancing, bootlicking politician in there, bought and paid for by the corporations, fact of business, so that you understand exactly how that works and you can back up what I'm saying or quantify what I'm saying. I'm putting this website in the chat. Y'all know what I'm talking about. FEC.gov. Go ahead and put that in the chat. I'm going to put it in here 3 times. And I want you to go and search whatever your favorite bootlicking politician is, and you can see the corporations that's funding them. And as we all know, the hand that pays is the hand that rules. What happens is the corporations go and buy off the politicians. So they look the other way, and then they make a little deal to get the illegal aliens up here and get them a kickback of that. That's exactly what's going on. Because think about it. Why would a politician, especially in predominantly black areas, gonna just let these people in here and you know it's harming the people that need the resources in your community that you're not doing nothing for? There's only one way you would do that, is if you're getting something out of it. People don't just do things for nothing. There's always an incentive in that for them, and you better believe it's financial from these corporations, okay? Oh, but see, you know, the Biden officials will come over here and tell me I don't know nothing, though. Let's let it continue.
People just kind of give up and go to the couch. And so I'm just saying there is something happening with black men. Some of it is the pain of going to all these funerals and seeing, you know, young men after young men put in the ground and nothing happening. Some of it is this victim narrative that is coming forward that just says, it's almost like it's disempowering. If you're black, you can't do anything. It's just systemic racism. You know, nothing you can do. I think that is a turnoff. But there is something happening on social media that we need to look at, because I've never seen this much despair from a group of people who usually are the spark plugs for hope in our community.
Now, I will argue, though, that...
And how do you just blame it on social media?
I don't know. I'm just saying I want to have a real conversation, because I don't feel like all of
why is it happening?
Yeah.
almost all of the major trends of the past 10 years trace in some way to social media. We're talking about skyrocketing depression rates among youth. All of this stuff is caused by social media. But from the data I've seen, the people that use social media the most are very liberal young people. They're the highest, most active users. So is it that I'm not sure they're the ones that are being pushed to the right per se, but certainly there's a major trend going on with social media. It's affecting every aspect of our lives.
Okay, so now you heard those clowns, right? You heard those clowns, okay? And no, Coleman Cruz Hughes is not foundational Black American, but he is Black. Please don't come over here and start that in my chat room. Yes, he is. He's genetically a Black man. He's just not a foundational Black American freedman, okay? We gonna be intelligent over here. That's science you're arguing with, just for those that have that narrative, okay? Let's just get that clear. I understand why a lot of people want to say that, but I go by science over here. Now, I want to direct your attention to the screen, ladies and gentlemen, because see all that nonsense that we just heard them talking. Now we got to get into the part where I show you, because I showed you all that for a reason about these security threats. Now, let me refresh your memory. You remember when I showed you that the Biden administration admitted the CBP-1 app to flying 320,000 migrants in here when he was always trying to blame that on Greg Abbott. Oh, it's Greg Abbott. He's busting them here or there. And he tried to do that, to fly them in to try to take some of the pressure off the border. You remember that? You remember when I told y'all about that, right? Okay. So I just wanted to refresh your memory. I want to make sure everybody see that. He admitted it. Came on out just throwing it in your face now. Because see, let me say something about that too. If people are foolish enough to put this man back in office for 4 more years, and he know he ain't got nothing to lose going out, oh, you think he doing damage now? Oh, just think about what Obama did. It'll be a repeat. You're like, okay, I ain't got nothing to lose now. Let me really pile on the damage, okay? Let me really pile on the damage. So I just want to refresh y'all memory, right? Because we finna get into these security threats. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your horses. What you about to hear is going to piss you off, but sometimes you need to be pissed off because it'll motivate you to action.
Before I turn it over to my colleagues here, they worked with us to make this happen. And what this is, and I want everybody to see it clearly, federal policy drives illegal immigrant crime and victimization. And that's the focus, other than our victims of human trafficking. Listen, folks, I want to introduce you to Andres Gill, okay? Here's this guy. He's also on this board, but get a look at him for a second. He came down here from New York with 3 females. All of them are in the country illegally. Did you hear what I said? They're all here illegally. He's the one that comes with them to drive them. These ladies are all controlled by a human trafficker. We think their human trafficker is a female. She sets up their appointments, she puts their ads online, she tells them where to go. And by the way, on Friday, the victims of human trafficking, and we've graded them out, 3 of them that are here illegally from Venezuela, 3 of them have to pay her $3,000 a piece on Friday, or else they're threatened. So they're not free. They're really indentured, and they're quote unquote paying off their debt. Now here's what they told us, all right? I'm sure the federal government will verify that this is not true, but you decide who you want to believe, whether you want to believe these victims of human trafficking or the whitewash the federal authorities give you. They said that when they came into the country illegally, DHS gave them a form, an ID, paperwork, that allows them to fly for free. You know, Southwest would let your bags fly free. Well, the federal government will let your illegal immigrants fly free. And they operate out of New York. And they were working up there, and the New York authorities said, hey, if you don't have identification, you can't work in our sex trade up here. You know, we don't allow sex trade here at all, but New York will allow you to do some stuff if you've got the proper authority. So they say they make a lot of money. They're addicted to it. These ladies are going to give you more details. They tell us that they fly to major metro centers for free on the federal government, where they set up their appointments for sex all around the country. Did you hear what I said? Listen, folks, if they don't pay $3,000 apiece on Friday, they're in trouble. The human trafficker sets up the deal. Hey, this deal is just outside of Tampa. They say they show this ID, this card, this paper, they fly for free down here. Then they fly back. But we heard a similar theme from all 21 of these folks. We can't work legally. We're addicted to this cash. It's a lot of cash and it's quick, so we have to give $3,000 a week. We get to keep everything above that. We have a crisis at the border. And because of the crisis at the border, we have people that are victimizing illegal folks, forcing them into the sex trade because we allow these criminals in the country illegally. We all rail about this and nobody pays any attention. And then we want to politic everything. Oh, we had a good piece of legislation that limited the average to only 5,000 illegals a day in the country, and then we can shut it off. Well, if you can shut it off at 5,000 people illegally coming in this country a day, you can shut it off at no people illegally coming in this country a day.
Let me pause it right here because I have to agree with Sheriff Grady Judd. And see, this is one of the things where only the grown folks will understand what we're talking about, especially at the local level of your politics, no matter where you are in this country. If you got somebody on the local level talking like that, that's who you support right there. I understand that there's other issues that we need to take care of. But as far as this particular issue that affect all of us as Americans, because let me go here. Reason why I'm saying this illegal alien issue, because I'm going to call it what it is affecting all of us as Americans, is because these people, they're anti-black. We know that. But if you have a family, you better understand. I've showed you this time and time again, no matter how much they try to play with my streams when I break that information down. They come from countries where it's okay for them to prey on children. And I'm going to say it again. If you're a black parent, and you in one of these areas where all these illegals are flooding up there, you better watch your babies. You hear me? You better not have your babies running around unsupervised and they roaming around your area, because it's nothing for them to target children. We've covered countless stories already of them doing that, targeting children. No matter who they can get their hands on, just targeting children. Okay? See, that's normal in their cultures. And Jim Crow Joe has let all of them come up here. So now, if you got somebody like Sheriff Grady Judd that's saying, hey, man, listen, 5,000, it should be 0. No 1,000, no nothing, no 100, no 10. No. See, this is the reason why a lot of people are going to support Trump, whether they like it or not. Because, like I said, that's the person, that's the best person for the job to go ahead and get them out of here, cut off that funding, because, see, that's the other thing they keep coming up here. Because they've been promised free stuff. They've been promised free stuff. Out of our, well, let me take that back, because that's an insult to say free stuff. They've been promised stuff that we're going to pay for out of our tax dollars that we don't have access to. Those of us who are American citizens. Let me be clear, because it's not free. We're paying for it. That's the reason Van Jones, Coleman, Cruz Hughes, Gayle King, that a lot of people are going to support Trump. All that nonsense y'all talking about. Because, see, they live in fantasy land. They don't even live nowhere around black people, man. They don't understand the problem that the average black person going through in this country, or the average American, to be honest with you. Remember Van Jones, $100 million man. I wonder what you had to do to get that $100 million crying man, Van. Yeah, I wonder what you had to do. Somebody, Jeff Bezos, give you $100 million for no reason? Yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna even go there. Yeah, y'all can put two and two together on that. But like I'm saying, they don't understand anything about what the average person goes through in this country. They don't know what it's like to struggle going to no grocery store, or the prices at the gas pump, or none of the issues and problems as far as people insurance, like the article that I put on my community tab that I want y'all to be aware of there, about if you see your insurance rates being jacked up sky high, well, LexisNexis is to blame for that, okay? They don't care about that kind of stuff, though. They don't care about that kind of stuff. But you should. And see, this sheriff right here, what I'm showing you right now, this is only part of the reason why I named this broadcast what I did, because what I have to show you after this, oh man, that's the big one right there. That's going to be the main problem. I'm going to see it right now. If what I predict is going to happen, unfortunately, and I hope it doesn't, but really at this point it's inevitable. If we have another terrorist attack on American soil, there's no way not to lay it at the feet of the Biden administration. That man should be brought up on treason and charges and held completely responsible for the policies that his administration carried out. But don't worry. We're going to get to that particular portion of the broadcast as soon as this right here ends. Let it continue.
But the politicians are politicking while the victims are being victimized. I read an article this week that says, well, the illegals coming here aren't committing crime at any greater percentage than the people who are here legally. What they didn't tell you is if they weren't here illegally at all, the crime they would commit here would be zero. So we're being victimized. But that doesn't make any difference on the national level. You see, because they set up there behind gay communities and in Congress, and they play politics back and forth between the two parties, while illegals are victimized, citizens are victimized, children are victimized. You got this goofy-looking kid here who's making sure that they come up with $3,000 a week apiece, and he's here illegally. It's a mess, and it doesn't have to be. If we can deal with it and catch it on the local level, they can stop it on the federal level. Shame on all of them, every one of them, for not getting together and saying, you know, there are things bigger in this country than my individual politics.
Now, that was Sheriff Grady Judd of Polk County down in Florida. And he's absolutely right on what he just said, okay? He's 1,000% correct. I can't disagree with nothing he's saying because, see, in the position that he's in, he sees the crimes that they're committing. All of us see the crimes that they're committing, okay? Lake and Raleigh, right here in Georgia, white folks, you all upset about that? Well, you got a decision to make, and I'm talking directly to you. Those of you that thought you were going to be slick and like, yeah, we'll get all this cheap labor. Now you see what's happening because, see, they're getting bold. Oh, not only are they anti-black, these illegals, they're showing you something. Think about it. They jumping on your race soldier protection force up there in New York. They jumping on cops. And they're targeting you now because, see, let me point something out to you, white America. You better understand that these illegal aliens coming up here that's finally got a chance to bum rush and get into America, where they were, they've always fantasized about being white, but see, that's not enough for them. They actually want to replace you. They're not coming up here to be your buffer class. They coming up here to prey off you. That's why what happened to Lake and Raleigh happened to her. You get the degenerates that come up here that by any means necessary, they got to get them a taste of a Becky, and that's what they do. They're coming to commit crimes where you are now. See, that's the unfortunate thing about a lot of you in white America. You have to wait till something affect you before you listen to black people. You don't care about nobody else until it affects you. And I get it. You can be that way if you want to, but now you're in a situation where you got some decisions to make. So do you want the cheap labor or do you want a secure country? It's as simple as that. Now, what I have up here on the screen, in fact, the business, let me take this banner down because it's another refresher here. I want to remind you. Remember when I showed you that Chinese migrants are the fastest group crossing from that Mexico border into the U.S.? Remember when I showed you that, right? This is courtesy of CBS News. You know, I did a broadcast on this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now comes the time of the broadcast where I need to show you what the greatest security threat is here. And what you're about to hear, this isn't me. I'm going to let you hear it from the horse's mouth itself. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to make sure you pay close attention to this part of the broadcast, because right now, unless you've been on a rock somewhere or you just completely oblivious of geopolitical relationships, okay, as far as America and its other nations that it has an adversarial relationship with, China is one of the main ones. Remember when they floated those low Earth orbital surveillance devices, aka balloons, all across America, floating them over missile silos, Cheyenne and Raven Rock and places like that? In case you don't know what those places are, those are very, very, very top secret national defense sites. And then you just think that that was an accident? Oh, no, that's never happened before. And you think the Chinese are not going to exploit that open southern border? Okay, I'll tell you what. I want you to listen to what I'm about to show you next here, ladies and gentlemen. And again, like I said, if something happens, we're going to have to lay that at the feet of the Biden administration.
Joining me now to discuss the 1,000 Talents Plan is Alex Josky, who I mentioned a moment ago. He's an analyst at ASPE, and on Thursday night, he released a report on the 1,000 Talents Plan globally. Alex, thank you very much for your time tonight. Can we start by you telling me what is the 1,000 Talents Plan and why is this the first, in effect, that we're hearing about it? Why is it so quiet?
Thank you for having me. The 1,000 Talents Plan is a program set up by the Chinese government in around 2008 to bring technology and expertise to China by offering lucrative incentives to some of the world's leading experts. These efforts have really been focused on in the US, and that's where a lot of the attention and responses have come from, as we heard from FBI Director Wray, but they're global. Australia faces the same problem, yet aside from the US, few countries have really started to pick up the ball on this issue and are only just starting to recognize and build capacity to respond to this problem.
So you are one of the very few people in this entire country in Australia who's actually done extensive research on the 1,000 Talents Plan. As I mentioned, you had a report that you released called Hunting the Phoenix on Thursday night. Is this one of the main ways that the Chinese government is trying to infiltrate our universities through these talent recruitment plans like the 1,000 Talents?
It's definitely a particularly concerning side of how the Chinese Communist Party is active in our universities. We can see Chinese government talent recruitment activity at essentially every single university in Australia. And while it's important to acknowledge that these programs are complex, aside from the 1,000 Talents Plan, there are probably about 200 other programs the Chinese government runs to achieve this goal of bringing overseas talent and technology to China. Some cases of recruitment might be above board, might be open, transparent, and totally acceptable. But what we're learning from these indictments in the US is that a couple of these cases, perhaps many of them, do raise concerns about intellectual property and grants and so on.
Well, let's get in that area, because there are clearly two concerns with these programs. One is the national security threat, and the other is the loss of intellectual property, perhaps the theft of intellectual property, and also the commercialization opportunities. How big of an issue is that?
It's an enormous part of the problem. I think military concerns are really just one piece of the risks that are posed by unmanaged and non-transparent talent recruitment activity by China. For example, about a year ago, I wrote about a University of Queensland professor who set up a company in China worth now over $100 million. He's since left the University of Queensland, but there was a period where he was both a 1,000 Talents Plan scholar and a UQ professor, and also running this company in China, which markets facial recognition technology, the exact same kind of technology that the Chinese government is using to monitor its population.
It's just extraordinary. Look, you know, we've seen from those clips that I just played of the FBI director how seriously the administration is taking it in the United States. You know, can you tell us a bit about what other action is being taken, perhaps what departments have banned it? You know, just how seriously is the US taking this issue?
A lot of the US response started from within the government itself, because the US government has a large network of research agencies and institutes that it runs, like the Los Alamos Nuclear Laboratory. So part of the problem was that US government employees were actually joining the Thousand Talents Plan, even though it was already prohibited by their contracts. So the US government had to specifically prohibit Department of Energy employees from joining foreign talent recruitment programs. And since then, we've seen at least 24 indictments related to Chinese government talent recruitment activity. The US government's also been working closely with its universities and funding agencies to raise concerns there and help point out some of these problems to universities. Some universities in the US are themselves taking action, carrying out their own investigations, and disciplining staff where necessary.
So it's quite amazing that we have seen that level of action in the United States. You know, even the Department of Energy, you know, banning its employees from taking part in foreign recruitment programs, including the Thousand Talents. What action is actually happening in Australia to address this issue?
I think the response from the Australian government has certainly been much more cautious than that from the United States. It's been grounded in a cooperative model of the University Foreign Interference Task Force, which brings together university to talk through to problems of foreign interference. I think Australia and the government are aware of how severe it is, but earlier stage states, and clearly, and I'm sure your article tomorrow will show this is a problem that's widespread and is potentially raising concerns at many of our universities.
Well, you know, you touched on this before, but just to expand on it, you know, one of the big concerns is that seemingly benign research may have a defense application and then may be misused by the Chinese Communist Party. So misused, this wasn't the researcher's original intention, misused for military purposes and even to develop weapons. You know, have we seen this in other parts of the world? And is this, you know, something that you are really concerned about it and have come across in your research?
The Chinese military is quite dedicated and quite focused on finding ways to access foreign technology and put that to use for its own purposes. And we've seen that activity around the world, including in Australia. Previously, I wrote a report called Picking Flowers, Making Honey that analysed how Chinese military scientists were being sent overseas to Australia, to the United States, across Europe and Canada and so on. And these scientists were being sent overseas with the explicit purpose of studying technologies of value to the Chinese military and bringing that expertise back to China. But I think a lot of the people they were working with in Australian universities, for example, had very different intentions. They were carrying out research because they wanted to benefit mankind. They wanted to understand the natural world better. So there's a clear mismatch in many of these cases between what the Chinese government is looking for and what it seeks to do with technology and what our scientists are trying to do. And this isn't widely recognized.
And it's not just the...
Now, let me pause it right here. Okay, I'll let that play for a good bit so you can hear for yourself what's going on. Now, for those of you that are not in the know on this, and if you're on my Patreon, you definitely know about it, especially if you're a paid member. You have full access to what the Chinese Thousand Talents Plan is. I've known about this for quite some time. I've been speaking about it for years, ever since I first found out about it. Basically, let me give it to you in the Reader's Digest layman terms version. When you think about the copy to China plan, for those that don't know what that is, when the greedy white folks, because we're going to call that what it is, the greedy white corporations rather, said, oh, we can take our corporations from here and, you know, because they don't want black people to have manufacturing jobs where they got to pay something. Oh, okay. Well, or Americans in general. We'll just go ahead and put it on all Americans because corporations, hey, they all about saving money. They said, all right, we'll take our corporations and go over to China where we can pay you $2 a day and all of this and get this cheap labor and get all this labor about you. Because, that's the problem with the white supremacists. They always looking for a slave labor class, okay? So what China did, and see, this is why I fought the United States government, because, see, when those companies left, this is what should have been done to them. Oh, you going to take these manufacturing jobs away from here so you can go and exploit cheap labor? Fine, no problem. You will never do business in the United States again. Your company cannot come over here. You can't sell your goods over here at all. That's a lifetime ban. So go ahead and take your business. You going all the way with it. Just make sure you happy with that decision. Because as long as you do that to us, then we gonna hit you with this. That's what United States government that actually care about the citizens and the jobs would have done. But I digress. The corporations took their companies over there thinking they was going to exploit cheap labor. And the Chinese said, oh, okay, you think you're slick, huh? Well, what you're going to have to do when you come over here is partner with a Chinese company that's already manufacturing whatever product you got. And they gave instructions to the CEOs of those Chinese companies that said, listen, come here for a minute. What your job is, you need to go in there and learn everything about that company. And if they make an iPhone, you make a sly phone. You're going to make a knockoff of everything they got. And we're going to flood the market with that and undercut the price. And that is how China got to its economic status right here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, white supremacist greed helped put them in the number 2, some say number 1 economic spot on the planet. Plus, I got to give it to the Chinese now. Hey, listen, I got to give it to them as far as the moves that they're trying to make. After they got their weight up, you see they building stuff left and right over there in China, all over the place, building things. So what they said, okay, now that we tricked these goofy white supremacists, let's go ahead down here and start exploiting these African resources. Yeah, I'm going here. We're going to take this debt diplomacy down here with this new money we got. We're going to hand them loans that we know most of them can't pay back. And then when they default the loan, hey, now we get your seaports, your power company, okay, your airport, your main national moneymakers, things that you never put up for collateral for a damn loan if you're a nation. But see, unfortunately, these goofy African puppet leaders, okay, they don't understand how to do business on the world stage, nor do they care about the future generations of their countries. So basically, to copy the China plan, that's what's happened on the business end. The 1,000 Talents plan is basically the intelligence espionage version of the copy the China plan. Send your Chinese nationals over here, get them in your Harvards, get them in your Yales, get them in your MITs, get them in all these different programs where they can get access to sensitive information. And then, hey, bring that information right on back to China. And when I say bring it right on back to China, I don't mean physically leave. Oh, no. Remember what I was telling y'all about those cyber attacks? And for those of you on my Patreon, you have a detailed look at an extensive file on a lot of cyber attacks going way on back, years, decades, on things that those of us in the IT field try to warn these idiots about. But they don't listen to none of us. We don't have no sense. All we do is just tell you what the threats are and then you ignore them. If you go look at that file and then you see what's going on now, it'll make a lot of sense. I told you, if you're over on my Patreon, you're going to learn a lot of things that you probably never learned anywhere else, okay? Yeah, go check that 1,000 Talents plan out over there if you're a paid member of Patreon. See, I put stuff over there that makes sense as far as helping you make sense of what's going on right now today. But see, you know what? I've said enough. I'm going to let him get back to it because, see, after this, I got one more thing I want to show you about why America has invited its greatest internal threats. And we're going to lay that at the feet of the Biden administration. Let's let it continue.
Militarization that, the research may be misused for, but also surveillance of dissidents and facial recognition technology has been a big issue. And you touched on that before with the University of Queensland example. But, is this another area where the Chinese Communist Party is actively targeting researchers who look at artificial intelligence and facial recognition, technology to absorb that knowledge and misuse it among their minority groups and dissidents?
Absolutely. I think human rights can't be emphasized enough in this space. China has there are examples of the Chinese government using foreign technology or expertise specifically to monitor minorities in Xinjiang, where it's locked up over 1 million ethnic Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps. For example, the Chinese government was using genetic data and using genetic testing kits provided by a US company to collect data on the population there. And a lot of China's surveillance companies, its artificial intelligence companies specializing in facial recognition technology, are actually built on the back of foreign training and foreign expertise, which have found an incredible market in the Chinese government's security state.
Look, Alex, finally, just before you go, I just want to ask you, one of the big revelations in your report is that the Chinese government has actually set up recruitment stations around the world in order to recruit people for the 1,000 Talents Plan and other programs. Is this happening in Australia?
It is happening in Australia. The report identified at least 57 of these stations in Australia. These are arrangements where the Chinese government has paid local groups in Australia to carry out talent recruitment work on its behalf. So these are the actual mechanisms, the channels of Chinese government recruitment activity. And I think it's really important for the government not to just look at individuals who've joined the program, but recognize that this is a Chinese government-led initiative with incentives and formal recruitment mechanisms and a national level strategy. It's not about the individuals. It's about, I think, bringing together these structures set up by the Chinese government to meet the Chinese government's technological ambitions.
Yeah. Alex Joske, thank you very much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And make sure you don't miss that report in The Australian tomorrow, the Australian newspaper, or online tomorrow. Our big investigation that names more than 30 academics and scientists in Australia who are part of the 1,000 Talents Plan or a similar Chinese government recruitment program. So stay tuned for that.
A self-confessed...
Now, what you heard there was one of China's own that defected, talking about what was going on in Australia, okay? Now, that goes double for what happens in America, okay? And the UK, okay? Because, see, the thing about the Chinese, they're not playing any games. After what Japan did to them historically, okay, if you don't know that bit of history, go and research that. They came to a realization after they got out of that. They're like, oh, no, this will never happen again. Oh, no. So once they got their weight up, now they're in conquer mode. You understand me? But see, don't take my word for it. I want you to hear what you're about to listen to next from this other defector. Okay? Because this is the one that's really going to blow your mind right here. Let me tell you something. Like I said, we're going to have to lay all of this at the crow Joe Biden. I'm going to let this play.
Chinese spy who bravely outed himself on 60 Minutes last week has news headlines around the world. One from Chinese government officials who dismiss fugitive. But the Australian government is taking the aired in Nick Mackenzie's investigation very seriously. William LeChung is the first Chinese to ever publish
Can you hear me, ladies and gentlemen? Can you hear me? 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 Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? I'm going to make some adjustments real quick. Oh, hey, listen, I told you, expect them to mess with this because, see, what I'm trying to show you here tonight, hey, listen, you ain't going to hear too many other people put in this type of context. I tell you what I'm going to do. Give me 1 second. I'm going to make a quick adjustment because we don't have much left to go here. But I want to make sure you all see this in its entirety, okay, and hear everything, all right? So I'm going to make a quick adjustment, but before I do, Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear in the chat room. Give me a black fist, a thumbs up, either or, so that I can confirm that you can hear me so I know what adjustments I need to make. Because, see, look, let me tell you something, man. When it comes to educating y'all, man, let me tell you something, man. When it comes to educating y'all, I keep saying it time and time again. If I'm showing you things like this, expect them to start monkey business, all right? Can y'all hear me loud and clear? I just want to make sure. So y'all saying the audio is choppy on me talking right now? Let me check some. Hold on. Okay. I'm checking on my end. All right, I'm gonna try something with the video here. We're gonna see if we can get that choppiness taken care of. YouTube gonna do what they do, but I'm gonna do what I need to do. So I'm gonna try some, and hopefully we can get through the rest of this. But I want y'all to listen to what he's about to say here. I'm gonna try to let this play, and if they don't let it play, y'all know what we'll do. I will even premiere it again if I have to. Let it continue.
In Australia. He's exposed secrets about China's interference operations around the world. But in exchange, he desperately wants Australia's protection.
What would happen to you if you went back to China?
Imagine the consequence of a spy betraying the organization. I know very well that the Chinese Communist Party can never be trusted. Once I go back, I will be dead.
Wang's extraordinary interview with Nick McKenzie created news around the world.
A self-confessed Chinese spy in Australia says that he's offered a trove of intelligence information.
The allegations are shocking.
As expected, his claims incensed the Chinese Communist Party, which accused Wang of being a convicted fraud and wanted fugitive. They say this video is him facing court in 2016. But Wang says that's a lie and it's not him. The Australian government's response to Wang's story has been revealing.
These matters were already under investigation.
And in an extraordinary move, Australia's National Security Agency issued a statement saying the 60 Minutes report contained allegations ASIO takes seriously. It went on to say the agency was previously aware of matters that have been reported and has been actively investigating them.
Well, the fact that ASIO has made a very rare statement today adds to the seriousness of these allegations.
It seems Taiwanese authorities are taking Wang's allegations seriously too.
Is it right what you're saying? Your job was to meddle in Taiwan's upcoming presidential election secretly for the Chinese government?
Yes, that's why I needed to change my name and not use my true identity.
Was your ultimate aim to make sure the current president of Taiwan was not elected?
Yes. Taiwan was the most important work of ours. The infiltration into media, temples, and grassroots organizations.
This week, Taiwanese media reported police had detained the man Wang.
Now, let me pause it real quick and interject and let you know why Taiwan is so important to the Chinese, the CCP in particular, okay, their government. For those of you that don't keep up with technology and these types of things, Taiwan is the world's leading manufacturer of semiconductors, okay? And if you know anything about semiconductors, you know how important those are to any type of electronics and computers, especially when it comes to military technology, all right? China wants control of that more than you can imagine, okay? And look, that's a hotly contested area, especially over there in that South China Sea region because of all other trade reasons, okay? Listen, that's going to get ugly. There's no way around that because the Chinese have gotten their weight up to the point that they're not just going to just be rolled over. So conflict is coming behind that, all right? They're steady trying to make moves to take that back, but they know if they try it directly, then that's going to bring the United States, the UK, the Japanese. It's going to be a whole bunch of contention over that, okay? Because Taiwan don't want nothing to do with China like that, but China's like, nah. In other words, to give you, especially for the younger people that don't quite understand that, think about the situation with Ukraine and Russia right now, okay? That's what China wants to do to Taiwan, okay? That's basically what they want to do. But see, that will mostly have to be a naval operation, being the difference between Russia and Ukraine. That's a landlocked military operation. Naval operations are a bit more tricky, okay? And see, trust me, that right there, that issue is going to be quite one to keep your eye on in the upcoming future here with a lot that's going on. So just want to give you a bit of context on why they sent him to Taiwan to try to infiltrate from the inside and try to do as much damage and cause as much confusion as he could. Because see, the goal is get in there, sabotage the political process, and hopefully get a puppet that's on the take in there. So, hey, they'll be like, okay, we can't physically invade you. Well, hey, we'll just put a puppet in here and make you do what we want you to do. And then, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to trade and anything else, hey, we already control that because we got a flunky on the inside. That's why they sent him to do what he wanted to do there, what they wanted him to do there. Let it continue.
Identified as his boss and a high-ranking military official for China. It's believed Xiang Xin and his wife were intercepted at the airport as they tried to leave Taiwan for Hong Kong. They were questioned on suspicion of violating the National Security Act. But in Australia, revelations of another alleged Chinese plot, a plan to infiltrate our federal parliament, caused a storm.
It was surreal. It was like something out of a spy novel, happening in Melbourne with impunity and very, very concerning.
As we reported, Liberal Party member Nick Zhao was allegedly offered $1 million to run as a candidate at the federal election. The 32-year-old is now dead.
I find the allegations deeply disturbing and troubling.
The boss of ASIO confirmed his agency was aware of these claims and warned hostile foreign intelligence activity continues to pose a real threat to our nation and its security. This is not the last we'll be hearing about attempted Chinese influence in Australian affairs. We'll keep you up to date on developments, including how Wang Lichang fares in his attempt to be given safe refuge here.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And see, I know a lot of people are like, well, GBS, they were highlighting things going on in Australia, okay? I brought that information to you to show you how wide-reaching that the CCP's 1,000 Talents program is. Because you can bet your bottom dollar if they got that going on in Australia, which they do, with this open border, what you think they're doing right now? Flying low Earth orbital surveillance devices, aka weather balloons, air quotes, over our sensitive installations. You really think that they don't have that 1,000 Talents program in operation over here? Ladies and gentlemen, I brought you this information over here tonight so that you will understand the grave threats that we are dealing with across the board, whether it's the Sambos and Sambits in our community that's claiming to speak for us that do not. And I showed you the problem that a lot of law enforcement is having with these anti-Black, illegal, criminal aliens that are over here. And I also showed you what the Chinese are going to do as far as exploiting that open border down here. And I'm going to say it yet again. I don't care which one of you bisexuals don't like it. If something happens on American soil, we're going to have to lay that completely at the feet of the entire Biden administration. And I'm going to tell you something. If Donald Trump becomes the president of the United States, which he does have a good chance, it's his race to lose, to be honest with you. I hope he bring Biden up on all the charges that, as far as national security issues. Because that, look, yeah, he needs to go. An example needs to be made. And look, you know, with all this hell they putting Trump through, with all this bogus bullshit they throwing at him, because a lot of it is, you think he ain't gonna retaliate? Only thing I'm concerned with is like during his retaliation, just don't lose focus on what you need to do to put the country back on the right track. And as far as if he can keep that going and go ahead and go in on Dot and Biden, because look, I'm just gonna say it. Biden need to be locked under prison for this stuff that he's allowed to go on here. Him and his entire administration, every one of them. And when I say all of them, that includes all of them. All of them. I don't care if you were the dog walker. You had something to do with this, your ass needs to be in a prison. This is ridiculous. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you take advantage of the information that I share here with you tonight. Thank you for everybody that contributed to the broadcast. And I hope that you saw the playlist of the Children of the Chalk series. We will have one coming up soon. Okay, we got another one coming up because I told you since they wanted my attention, they're going to get it. But as far as the attention that we need to be focused on, Emily, do what you need to do to put your affairs in order and make sure that no matter what's going on in the political process, whether it's locally or on the national level, you vote for Black empowerment. You vote for what's in your best interest. But that said, take care of yourselves out here. Salute to you, Black first, and I will see you all in future content.
This is the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, and we still have a lot of discrepancies as far as the origins of hip-hop, a lot of claims, who did what, who was the first this, who was the this and that, and such and such. But at the end of the day, we need a definitive story, all right? And that story can only be told by the founders of this culture.
Like everything was being driven and influenced by young, Black, American culture, like the slang, the style of dress, the initial music that we chose.
You look at all the boroughs, you got, Money Making Manhattan and Money Earning Mount Vernon and Crooklyn. The Bronx was the boogie down Bronx. We was partying up there.
I am Coke LaRock, the first MC of hip hop. First cat to pick the mic up.
I introduced rapping to the turntable because when I came with it, nobody in the world was doing it. I'm right after Rudy Ray Moore.
They want to come in the mix. They want to say, we started. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What came to be known as hip hop was solely an African-American creation.
What would you get out of some Jamaican toast? What is that? I've never heard of a rapper use a Jamaican toast or a Jamaican fleur as a rhyme. I'd never heard of it, and I don't know where that myth came from.
My name is legendary King Trixie from the Bronx, BX from the West Side. I am the first break dancer.
And that narrative that hip hop has had 3 founding fathers, that's been rolling for the last almost 30 years, which isn't true. You don't have just 3 people who created hip hop. Hip hop was created by a number of different people.
I am the grandfather, the godfather of the graffiti culture. I am the first element of hip hop.
The roots of hip hop being Jamaican, absolutely false.
My name is MC Sha-Rock. I am a founding member of the MC/rap culture.
Cassette tapes was the internet of our time. It just traveled around by hand.
Well, I know for a fact that the B-Boy stand started from the gods, the 5%ers that would be at the jams back in the days who were acting as security.
If they get the real truth of how it all was created, then so many lies would not be able to be in existence.